Hello, divine being. I want to share something with you that is so juicy. Like I cannot I cannot stop thinking about it. Like, babes, I need to share it with you. I love finding magnificent things that deepen our consciousness and sharing them with you. Like that's one of my deepest purposes on earth, is literally to do that. But I found this lyric of a song that I cannot stop. It changed me. There's a before and after. But before I tell you what that is, first I just want to remind you, babes, you are divine. Like I know you've been manifesting. I know you've been visioning. You've been dreaming. But I just want to remind you, babes, as you vision, as you dream, as you plan, that just as you are manifesting, you are a manifestation. Just as you're envisioning, you are the vision. Just as you are creating, you are a co-creation of this divine earth. And so I just want you to remember that there is prophecy in your being. There is prophecy in your being, in just your energy, in the way that you experience life. There is so much cosmic magic. And I don't want you to forget, as you're mapping out your dream reality, dream life, dream relationship, dream service, dream money, dream abundance, dream giving from like your soul, and also dream receiving, because are you not also here to receive? Yes. I just want to remind you, babes, like it's so easy to forget that you, from the perspective of the universe, of the cosmos, you were manifested. Just as a vision can seem impossible, the fact that you are here and the beauty of your being, of your essence, the power of your spirit, of the way that you experience this life, it is so powerful. And actually, from accepting that divine self-worth, because we know love is the highest frequency, when you start to see yourself as a reflection of love, as love itself, you're going to attract more love to you. So I just want to remind you of that, babes, because I know it can be easy in this paradigm to forget. Like, you're out of this world, you're otherworldly. So I wanted to remind you that, because I know that I forget that sometimes. I know that when I create things, sometimes I'm so stuck in what's wrong with them or what's wrong with me. And there's that shame that feels like it will never go away. Oh my goodness. Whew. But you know what, babes? You're a healer, you're a dreamer, you're a feeler. And so welcome to the Soul Salon. If you haven't been here before, this is a space for loving creation, for stepping into power, purpose, service, and also abundance. Giving deeply generously, but also receiving, co-creating with the divine, with the earth, with the collective, understanding that all creation is co-creation. So I'm getting the vibe that you're stepping into being seen more. You're recognizing that a lot of your dreams and desires are actually not that far away. Like the book you want to write, or the podcast you want to start or grow, or the opportunities you see other people receiving, and you're like, I really could do that. Like I see myself doing what they're doing. I see myself speaking at the events they're speaking at, hosting the kinds of events, conferences, retreats that they're hosting, or being in the studios that they're in, or being the leader that they are. Like I see this for myself, because you've raised your vibration, you've raised your sense of what's possible. But one thing that can stop you, even as you accept in theory you want to be more seen, is this practical embodied fear and shame around visibility. So I'm really here to support you on this, to support you with visibility as well as creativity, because they're like interconnected, because the more full we are of our creative juices, the more they will overflow from us. That is why it is so pleasurable to watch someone perform, like who is a performer, like a singer or a dancer. They are so full of their craft that it oozes out of them. In fact, it's kind of like an orgasm if you think about it. They're erupting, vibrating, just gushing with this energy of creation. And it's all those hours they put in private, not only into their craft, but into the self-love they needed to devote themselves to that craft, that allowed them to show up in that way. And I am here to support you on that exact journey that I just laid out. I believe we only rise rooted. So it's so important to root yourself in self-love, in ritual, in practice, in whatever grounds you in connection and community, so that from that rooted place, the fruits can grow. The fruits don't grow from the top, like, oh, I just want more fruits. But babes, what about what's happening underground? What about that? Okay, anyway, so yes, one of the things that can stop you on this path, on this journey, is the fear of being seen. The fear of being visible, the fear of being exposed. Oh my goodness. What are they going to say? The fear of being perceived, often not by people you don't know, but by people who do know you, and they know you in one fixed role, and now you're stepping into another role. That's scary. That's terrifying. There's this concept called the shame of becoming. It's a psychological concept, which is basically, we're not ashamed to be what we ultimately seek being. So let's say you dream of being a YouTuber. You're not ashamed to become that dream YouTuber that you're envisioning. You're ashamed to be seen trying to become that in the process of cracking open, like from an egg into the next form of life. We know that this is a part of nature. We left the womb, we became a baby, we grew from that, like this metamorphosis, shedding, cracking, molting. It's a part of nature and it's transformational and it's painful at times. So I just want to hold so much love for you. Like the fear of being seen, it's real. It's real and it shows up. Once you pull that thread, you'll notice it in so many different ways. Let me give you an example. Through my whole life, I've struggled with eye contact. Oh my word, eye contact. Like, I don't understand. How are you all looking each other in the eyes? Like, I feel so perceived. I'm like, oh my word, like, this is so intense. I'll be looking there, and everywhere. And it's actually so funny the way that healing works, because when we have a message that calls to us, the message will initiate us into a process to actually embody the message. So I've been teaching on the fear of being seen. And as part of that, I've actually had to heal so much around my own fear of being seen. Not to say I'm finished with that, because there are so many levels to this. There's so many fears. And also fear of being seen is so connected to our aliveness as a collectivist species. So I've had to grow my own awareness of where am I not showing up as that. And one of the areas is eye contact. I really struggle to make eye contact. And it's only in the past, literally like couple of months, that I've actually improved at this after 29 years of not looking people in the eye. And my therapist just the other day was like, girl, you're looking me in the eye. Like even on Zoom, I'll be like, so, right, and and I'm a creativity guide, doula, whatever you want to call it. Actually, they're like, girl, what do you call it? Because this is so much fun. Oh my word. Okay, so I have to look my clients in the eye. I get to. They're so wonderful and magical. And so are you. Okay, so I know it's been a long time. I know you're ready to hear this quote that I found for you. And as I said, there's a before and after of hearing this and reframing my understanding of what fear is. We all have fear. I gave a whole masterclass on this. Creative fear, fear of starting, fear of failing, fear of being seen, fear of not being seen, because let's talk about that. It's the same fear. The fear of everyone showing up is also the fear of no one showing up. Fear of being judged, misunderstood, fear of losing everything, fear of not trying, fear of trying, fear of being too old, fear of being too inexperienced, fear of being bullied, of being criticized, fear of old traumas being reenacted. Okay, so many different fears. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of not being enough. You know, perfectionism is that fear. So I was minding my business, listening to music, and this one song started playing, and I didn't think much of it until I heard this quote that completely changed me. And it's that feeling of resonance and an epiphany where something is so deeply true that you feel it literally in your whole body. Like I had the tingles. And what that quote is, and I literally wrote it on a whiteboard because I believe in it so strongly. And I'll show it to you in a second. But I just need to, is fear is courage waiting to become known. Fear is courage waiting to become known. Fear is courage waiting to become known. I just have to I don't know if I'm actually giving the weight of these words justice. Like, how do I make it make sense that this is the most powerful thing ever? Fear is courage waiting to become known. Can we hear the alchemy? And babes, you're an alchemist. Oh my word, the things you've alchemized in your lifetime and in your lineage, it's actually profound. It's astounding. It's amazing. But can we talk about the alchemy of this sentence? It's saying, we're going to break this down so slowly, babe. So don't worry. By the end, I know the shift is going to be in there where it belongs. Okay, let's have the whiteboard help us. Okay. Oh, and to be wonderfully loving to the artist's name is Savannah. I have it right here. And the song is called She Moves Me, and will absolutely be in the show notes, babe. So you can go check it out. It changed me. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you. You really have done the Lord's work. And this is also why visibility matters. Imagine Savannah was like, oh my God, the song is not good enough. Would I have been moved? Would I have been changed? And it's exactly the same for you, babes. We change each other's lives by being generous with our craft. Oh my word, Savannah has doubts. I don't know who Savannah is, but Savannah has doubts, but it's what she chose to do in the face of those doubts. And that's exactly what this quote is also speaking to. Fear is courage waiting to become known. Instead of me explaining this from my experience, let's just talk about yours. I invite you to consider something you were so afraid that would happen that actually ended up showing you how courageous you are. Maybe you always feared moving from your town, but you actually always desired it as well. And you thought, how am I ever going to make friends? How am I ever going to survive far from my family? How am I ever going to make this work? And then your fear became a courage that you did not yet know you had. Maybe you're afraid to leave a relationship. and you thought, how on earth am I going to have this difficult conversation? How am I going to advocate for myself? What might go wrong? And then you said the words, even if your voice shooketh, even if your voice shook, even if you could not stop crying, you said the words. Fear became a courage that was waiting to become known. Maybe you have a project that you've been dreaming of for years. You've been dreaming and dreaming of writing more. You've been dreaming of speaking at a spoken poetry event, and you thought to yourself, my heart's going to literally beat until it just stops. It's going to race and accelerate into the earth, into the ether, where it already is, because you're divine and magnificent. So then it's like, oh my word, I spoke on that stage. And then the feeling of power afterwards of like, oh my God, like what else am I holding myself back from? So again, fear is courage waiting to become known. In my own experience, I genuinely, it's so funny that this quote came through to me, because I realized like in the past like 6 months, I was like, how is it that I'm still afraid of being seen? How is it that I'm still afraid creatively? I still have creative fears. How is that possible? It's like, you know, the ego is like, I've already healed from this. I want to move on. Let's move on to greener pastures. And it's not how it works. Healing is a spiral. So we don't really get over things, but we do evolve and we do gain more awareness, which is beautiful. And I feel you've been doing that a lot. But you've also been accepting that some of these wounds, they're wounds, you know, they don't just vanish, and they're part of what makes you you. But also, what I realized in the past 6 months is that the reason I feel afraid creatively is because I'm here to embody courage. And if I wasn't afraid, how could I ever be courageous? So my soul said, oh, you're here to be a courageous woman. So we're going to make sure you face the fire of fear again and again, whether it's recording a video, creating something that feels vulnerable, scary, having an idea, launching an offer, whatever it may be, many other things. But creation can scare me. And it's like, oh, it's because you've come here to be a courageous creator. So in every instance where I've been afraid before posting something, even my last video, I was like, oh my word, I'm so afraid. Like, oh my God, this is so scary. And I was like, oh, because you're meant to be courageous. So when I posted it, it's like, oh, the fear alchemized itself into courage. But actually what this is saying is not fear becomes courage when we act. It's that fear is almost like an earlier stage of courage that doesn't know yet what it fully is. Oh my gosh. I love language sometimes. Like, wow. It's like the baby doesn't yet fully know. And please excuse me if you can't fully see the letters. I'm doing the best that I can. So it's like the baby, like a baby, when you were an infant, you didn't fully know you were going to become an adult. Like you didn't look at your parents and think, I'm going to become that. You did not yet know what you would become. None of us really do. And so it's just as every sort of being is an earlier stage of a different form of that version. Neither is wrong or right. Like fear is this earlier stage of courage, that this transmutation process happens. And they're actually two faces of the exact same thing. So whatever you're afraid of, my darling, my love, is simply the form of courage you are here to embody. If you're afraid of sharing your spirituality, it's because you're here to embody the courage of stepping out of the spiritual closet and sharing your actual gifts and magic with the world and owning your truth, even if it's in language that for people in your community or family or friends or circle will feel threatening, or they may even, had clients who've told me that they've had members of their community like, what's that word? Fuck. Disown them. Yes, disown them. And so the risks are real, but it's the courage that those people then embody. So if you're afraid to write a book about your experience, what if that fear is just waiting to become the courage that you do already possess to have that experience? And the best way to see the truth of this is to just assess your own experience of this human life and think about the moments where you could have sworn you could not handle something that you then ended up being courageous through. This is not to glorify suffering at all. I'm not celebrating it. I'm not saying, oh, but look at the lessons we learned. Not at all. But I know you as a human being on this earth have had things that you thought you would not survive, that you alchemized, and that you showed yourself a level of strength and resilience you did not even know you had. And so I think this really invites us to reframe the way we relate to fear, to become fear alchemists, like to say, oh, wow, this fear actually just hasn't graduated into courage just yet, but that's what it will become if I follow it. And if you follow the fear, my love, oh my word, you will be so powerful. Because the other face of the fear is also the desire. So if you own your desires, then you will also own the fear waiting to become courage of that desire. And what I like about this idea is becoming known. So, what does this indicate? It's a deeper level of awareness. It's saying that when you're in the fearful state, there's something you're not conscious of within you. Knowing has this very deep spiritual connotation as well. It's about wisdom, it's about sight, like what you see, it's about what you've come to awareness on. So, fear is this less conscious version of courage. Courage knows itself, courage knows it had to overcome something. But it's like the fear is this earlier, lower awareness, like in the Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins, like this lower frequency, but they all belong, and fear keeps us alive, and fear is sacred as well. But basically, like the fear does not yet fully know just how powerful it can be and can become. So the fear within you is a courage that's waiting to become known by you. What we're inviting you to do is actually recognize just how courageous you are so that you can bring that knowing, bring that awareness. And each time you face fear, whether it's fear of starting, fear of launching, fear of being seen, trying, fear of being judged, you say, oh, wow, now I'm aware, like now I know. This is actually just a courage that's waiting to become. And since your consciousness is the most profound, it's so deep, it's so rich, it's so complicated, we don't even understand what it is. So it is from that consciousness that anything is possible. Like you are an aspect of God, divine, earth, cosmos, like you're so profound. And so, of course, there are gifts within you that have not yet fully become known. And so I invite you to know this within yourself. Know thyself to be courageous. Know thyself to be brave. Know thyself to have more possibilities than what might seem immediately obvious. Because, for example, because I work on the fear of being seen, sometimes the fear of recording, like it feels like someone's gonna attack you. It's very scary. Or posting something and then seeing comments under it. You're like, what if this is the end? Like, what if people say some things that are so hurtful that I just can't survive them? But then it's like, okay, I'm afraid. And that fear is trying to become courage. It doesn't yet know what it could be. It's like that part of each of us that deeply underestimates itself. So my darlings, my loves, I'm going to put this whiteboard down. How are you going to walk towards the fear, knowing that it is courage in disguise, courage waiting to grow more aware, more knowing, waiting to grow more understanding? How are you going to trust that just as you've been so resilient and alchemized so much, not only in your life, but you're healing your lineage, babes, like you're doing work that you're the first person in your entire lineage to be able to do. So you are alchemizing so much that you've been given into more healing, more love, more understanding, more compassion. And it's really important to not underestimate yourself because your level of self-worth has really been rising, right? And the more it rises, the more your sense of what is possible for you and through you will also rise. So when you are your courageous self, know that you become a beacon for all the rest of us because we also inspire courage within each of us. When we see someone being courageous, we become more courageous. It is infectious. So what if fear is courage waiting to become known also means that when we see people who are being courageous, it's almost like part of us recognizes that they're just at a later stage of their evolution than us. And we need to integrate what we're seeing within them and recognize it within us. So for example, sometimes when we admire someone, we put a lot of distance between us and them. Like we put them on this huge pedestal. And it's like, what if their courage is just a more grown-up version of the fear we feel within ourselves? And now those two are actually coming together, connecting, knowing each other in a deeper way. Okay, let's just allow that. That doesn't fully make sense. And we just have to allow that sometimes. That sometimes that's just part of the vibe. You know, you say things, you don't even fully know what they mean. And then you just allow the collective to sit with it and allow the dialogue to continue. So I love you so much, my darling. You are so profound, so magnificent, so divine. You are here for a reason, actually many, several, plenty. And I just never want you to forget that through you, we all get to become more of what we are seeking to become. We get to become more healed. I was thinking about how I recently heard on this podcast, this doctor was explaining how a fever is not actually the illness. A fever is your body trying to burn out the infection from your body. I was like, oh my God, what? Like, wow, I just never thought about it that way, but that is the way that it should be thought about. But anyways, I thought about the way that we are all here as healers within the collective body to metabolize, to purify, to grow, to heal, to enrich, to nourish different parts of the collective body. Some people do that through their music. Some people do that through their words. Their language is this balm on the collective spirit. But what I truly believe is, how can we heal as a giant collective body if all the healers within that body are not stepping into the power and purpose of their healing capabilities? You bring something so magical, and it's like, will you allow yourself to be seen in that so that the collective can heal through the particular medicine of your voice, of your gifts, of your magic, which is really our magic, our gifts, because it's all one. And yet we are not in harmony when we hide from the gifts we are naturally here to share. And I feel you're already stepping into that truth. Like, you are here to offer something to the collective spirit, to be a balm, to be nourishment, to be a medicine. And your particular medicine deserves to be seen. It deserves to be felt, because actually being seen is the portal to being felt. Oh my gosh, just dropping gems. Being seen is the portal to being felt. It's not really about, it's so funny, we're very visual beings generally as a collective, and visual can also be metaphorically speaking. We see visions, we see possibilities, but also it's not really about the visibility. It's about what that visibility is a portal towards. So you may see me, but is it about you seeing me, or is it about you feeling, healing, growing, understanding? Insert your own words. Don't want to impose anything on you or anything. Through me, through the me that is you, through our shared vibration and values and understandings. And so with that, know that you are here to be seen in your gifts, and your gifts are here to be seen in themselves through you. So let's vibe, my love, like the stars, the trees, the moon. You deserve to be celebrated, witnessed, loved as you are today. Not after you read that book, not after you do that course, not after you do that research, babes. Today, what you have to say is enough. What you have to create is enough. What you have to offer is enough. What you have to sell is enough in a soulful way. What you have to share is enough as it is today. Nothing needs to be added, okay? Because you are divine. What is different between you and the rivers and the trees and the mountains? What is different between you and the stars? What is different between you and the most divine intelligence? It's all one. And so let's vibe, my darling. Let's vibe. Fear is courage waiting to become known. Thank you again to the artist Savannah. Her song again is called She Moves Me, and these lyrics will forever change me. And I'm so grateful that I got to share them with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a soul sibling. Thank you for being within the Soul Salon. You may leave, but it will never leave you unless you wanted to. then it will go away. But I'm just so grateful to be able to do this. I feel energized. I feel excited. And it's really, I've been reconnecting with how blissful creativity gets to be. Okay, I love you so much, my darling, my love, my angel, and I will see you on the next soul session. Stick around, peek around, and I'm sending you so much love. You are resilient, powerful. You can face this fear. It is courage waiting to become known through you and by you and for you. So we're so grateful for this work you're doing, because it has loving ripples across the collective. The more you step into healing, power, purpose, service, the more we all get to heal through you, feel through you, grow, delight, be blissful through your being and your essence. I do have a free ebook called the Soulful Visibility Guide that is here to support you on your fear of being seen. I'm receiving such beautiful emails and notes about people's experience of this ebook, and also the playlist included within it with hand-picked high frequency loving songs, a loving vibration. In fact, I listened to it right before I recorded this soul session to get into this frequency, because I was in self-doubt and I was like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Fear is courage waiting to become known, okay? So I hope that this supports you. You can visit my website, ayandastood.com, and that's where you can pick up your free copy of the Soulful Visibility Guide. I'm sending you all the love in the world because you are love. So I'm literally just sending a frequency of yourself. How does it feel? Does it feel good? Yes, that's how it is to witness you, okay? That's how it will be. That's how it is. And so it is. Love you. I'll see you on the next soul session. Love you. Bye. My darling, my love, my soul sibling, thank you for stepping into the Soul Salon. If you are still hearing or watching this, we are soul siblings. We are resonating on the same frequency. And so something you may struggle with, that I struggle with, is the fear of being seen. You know that visibility is involved in you living your creative purpose and being in your power, serving the collective through your gifts, through your magic, through your medicine. in order to do that, you need to be more seen than you are allowing yourself to be right now. I have a gift just for you, heart made for us on this frequency, and it is a free ebook called The Soulful Visibility Guide. That is soulful visibility. Like, we don't just want to be seen, we want to be felt, we want to be heard, we want to move and be moved. So I do have a free gift for you, and all you need to do is go to my website, ayandastood.com, and there you will be able to input your email address and receive this directly to your inbox. This is such a juicy and delicious guide, and I change the free offering every few months, so get it while you can. All the links are in the show notes. So thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you on the next soul session. Okay, I love you. Bye.